Reva here, and today I wanted to share with you some really great ideas for creating gifts in your home or for yourself or for someone else using the ScanNCut, which is something that we use for applique and other sewing features, but it's really fun to do something a little bit different than just sewing related items with our ScanNCut. So what I'm going to talk about today is glass etching. Glass etching is where you create a mask and add etching cream and you get a frosted look on the glass. And we're going to use a ScanNCut to cut out the shapes that we want, and then I'll show you how to apply them onto the glass. To get this, and I don't know if you see the initial here, but I have just a letter F, and I use the ScanNCut to get that. And I'm going to show you the other version I have here that is simply the F without the box around it. And I'll show you how to get both of those styles. But to get the F on the ScanNCut, if you look over on the screen, I'm going to touch Pattern, and I'm going to go to the alphabet, and I'm going to choose the font I want, and then I chose an F, and it's right there, and say OK. I then sized it to the size that I wanted to be, and I wanted it to be 2 inches high, so I just need to increase that by a little bit. There we go, that's good enough. And say Set. So now I have my F right there, and I want to create a box around that. Anywhere that you have, I want to touch Add, sorry. Anywhere that you have the glass covered, the etching material will not be able to get into it. So I'm going to make that square bigger than my F and just put my F inside of it. Okay? And I want to group those together so that way I can move them as one unit on my mat. I'm taking my standard mat, and this one's been previously used, so it's not overly sticky because the back of the masking material has paper on it, and I don't want to put paper right down on a brand new mat. So I'm going to put that on here. But before we cut this out, let me tell you what items you need to do your glass etching. So now that I showed you how to put the pattern into your ScanNCut, here's what we need to do glass etching. For glass etching, you want to have mask material, which is what that yellow piece is. So the masking material is a sticker, a nice heavy sticker vinyl that's going to create a block for where you do not want the etching material to go. There is a transfer tape which will transfer the design you cut out from the masking material onto your glass. Because think about it, if you had little bits and pieces, you want to move them from the cutout piece to your item in one unit. You don't want to be moving all the individual little pieces, and that's what this does. And then we also have in here, this is a starter kit. It's a beginner kit for glass etching, so it has everything you need to start. This is etching cream. And etching cream, this style of etching cream is reusable. So when you're done etching, you just scrape it off and put it back in the bottle, and you can use it again and again. And then we have a pick tool, and what this does is it will let you weed and get rid of the parts of the design that you do not want to keep. And then this little spatula will help you apply the etching cream. So what we're going to do is put our mask material onto our carrier sheet, the mat. And like I said, this one's not very sticky, so I can release the paper back off of it. If you're using a brand new mat, consider using a mid-tack mat, not the standard mat. And then I want to get this adhered real well, so I'm just using a felt squeegee that will help let me get that burnish down really well, so it will adhere to the mat. And I'm simply going to load my mat into the machine. And now what I want to do is make sure that my design is going to be cut on my material. And you probably noticed that my material has an odd shape to it. So what I'm going to do is ask the ScanNCut to take a picture of what's on the mat, so that way I can place my design right where I want it to go and make sure that it's on the material, so that way you have no waste. Okay, so if you can see that, now I can fully see where I want to place my material. I'm going to touch OK and say cut, and then the machine is going to cut that out for us. Now while that's cutting, let's talk about prepping your glass for the glass etching. You want to clean your glass very well, and I use the isopropyl alcohol, and what that does is it cleans all the oils and everything off of the glass but doesn't leave a residue. So that's what I use to clean the glass. And then when you apply your mask, you want to make sure that it's where you want it and that it's bubble free. So now let's unload the mat, and I'm going to show you how to take and read this. So over here, when you're doing glass etching, I want to talk about this a little bit. You can have a positive or a negative image. What is exposed or left open and not covered is what will be etched. So this sample here is just the F by itself. The one that I've done here with this part being exposed is this style, where the F is clear because it was covered. Okay, so you want to think about that, because you're going to remove the part that you want etched. So if I wanted to do the style like this one here, all I would have to do is come in here and use my detailed pick tool to find that border. Whoops. Make sure he starts going. He hung on a little bit. There we go. And now I am left with just the F. And then I can take a mask and I will stick that to it. So you would just stick your mask right over that, adhere that real well, and then when you lift it off, the F comes with it. And then you can simply take your glass that has been cleaned and adhere that and rub it on. And then when you pull off the mask, the transfer tape, the mask remains behind. And then you want to use like your pink tape or whatever and cordon off any barriers that you want to have, so that way you won't get the etching material where you don't want it to be. So that's what I've done here. So now let me show you how to apply the etching cream. This has all been cleaned, of course, like I said, with the rubbing alcohol. And the etch-all is really cool. When you open it up, it's kind of like a nice icing on a cake. And the color of this product will be from white, it could be creamy, it might be the color of caramel, and it can also be as dark as chocolate pudding. The reasons why your etching cream may change in color from bottle to bottle or from when you've purchased it to later is changes in temperature. The cream does not get defective, it just may change in color. And I just put a bunch of that on there, and then I'm going to use my little spatula just to make sure that there are no air bubbles and that I have a nice thick even coat over the whole surface. And when this is done, I'm going to let it set. This cream asks for 15 minutes, so I'm going to let it set for at least 15 minutes. I could let it set overnight and it's not going to hurt anything. It's best if you work with it as flat as possible so gravity doesn't pull the cream all over the place. But I'll let this sit for at least 15 minutes, and then you want to scrape off what is left on the surface. So if I were done with this one, I could just come back, scrape this off, and put it right back into my bottle and reuse it. So you can imagine how long this product will actually last you because you're reusing it. And then I'll just close that up, and then I would rinse this off. Rinse it off in plastic or a stainless steel sink. If you have a ceramic sink, you don't want to rinse it off in that because this will etch ceramic as well. So if you have a ceramic sink, just put it in like a Tupperware bowl and rinse it off really good, and then you can be good to go. And when you're done rinsing it, all you do is remove the tape and any masking material that you have. So like our little guy here, I can take my pick tool and I can come in here and just get him off. There we go. And so then that just comes off, and then you're left with the unetched spot. Remember to pay attention to that your masking material is sealed all the way around the edges. If you have any loose spots or anything that's ragged or jagged, you're going to see that in your finished product. So make sure you have nice clean edges all the way around. So as you can see, you can get some really neat results, and you can make some great gifts. So have fun with your ScanNCut for using it for more than just applique.